Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Tech event. Actually, the time flies when we are having fun, and this is our last session before the applications close. So, just a small reminder: if you didn't apply yet to the Tech program and you have a startup in the tourism industry and wants to come to Portugal, this is your time. Okay, go now to the website because the applications will close next Sunday. But that's not why we are here today. Welcome to our event again. Today we will discuss a different topic, kind of different from the last sessions. Today we will discuss different opportunities here in Portugal for financing and to have support and have help to your startup. Okay, and to do that, we have a really interesting panel. Today we will have Pedro Gomes from Banco Montepio with us. You probably don't know. Pedro will explain to you later. But Banco Montepio, it's one of the largest banks here in Portugal. José Valle from IAPMEI. IAPMEI, it's one of our public institutes. José will explain us a little bit more. That helps a lot the business owners, the entrepreneurs. Juan Revolta from Finova. Finova is international foundation that helps entrepreneurs here in Europe. And André Almeida from Business Portugal. Business Portugal, it's a small company that helps the entrepreneurs that wants to come to Portugal to understand how to do it. They will explain us a little bit more about that. And actually, for start, I think that the best way to start this session is actually to give you the words and allow you to tell us a little bit more about your organization, about your work, about you, and also, that's actually the main point of the session, about the opportunities that your organization is bringing to the entrepreneurs. What kind of opportunities in like helping them, and what kind of opportunities in supporting them and giving them help to grow actually. Pedro, maybe you could start.
Yeah, sure. Well, good afternoon.
I see that you was busy, so I started with you just to be. I'm just kidding.
Well, thank you very much for inviting us to be on this event. Good afternoon to you all. I will begin by maybe introducing myself. I am Pedro Ricardo Gomes from Banco Montepio. I am head of microfinance, entrepreneurship, and sustainability at the bank. We operate in three different aspects. The first one, microfinance. We are basically financiers of small startups to promote self-employment and make economic impact on the local communities. Our second hat, it's the entrepreneurship one. I'm sorry, I'm just getting a lot of notifications. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
In our second hat, the entrepreneurship, we act as lobbyists in the social innovation ecosystem, but we are also social investors. We invest in several projects, social projects, in the areas of old age, youth care, social insertion, education, etc., etc. We do this in co-invest. We co-invest with other partners, and we use mainly the Estrutura de Missão Portugal Inovação Social financing mechanisms to do so. We have a big project, a social investment project running, and it would represent approximately 10 million euros in 3 years. It began last November. And our last but not least important hat, the sustainability one. In sustainability, we address our CO2 footprint and dignified working relations mainly. We look inside our organization, and we measure our environmental and social impacts. We also aim, and this is a new project, we also aim to grow the sustainability practices in the financing sector. And we basically want to integrate ESG considerations in our governance and business model. In this case, we already are part of several working groups of the European Commission, of European Central Bank, and Portuguese Banking Association, where we represent Portugal in several subgroups related to the taxonomy. And also represent ISO standards, international standards in Portugal, with the Portuguese Ethical Association. We are involved in, I believe, all groups related to sustainable finance in Portugal and in Europe. We call ourselves the Social Economy Bank, and therefore our goal is to produce social impact where we can. And that's basically it. Thank you.
Well, sounds good. We will talk a little bit more about that and about the integration in tourism also, and all of that later. But now maybe José, can you tell us a little bit more about YAPME? I think the international entrepreneurs wants to know about it. We are not hearing you.
It was in mute. Okay, so hello everyone. My name is José Val, as Fernando already said, and I'm coming from YAPME. YAPME is the National Institute for the Support of SMEs and Investment. And so we deal a lot with competitiveness, we deal a lot of innovation, and also as well as entrepreneurship. So we exist since 1975. We belong to the Ministry of Economy, and we majorly deal with EU grants in a program that is almost finished, named Portugal 2020, and also we're expecting the resilience plan and also the Portugal 2030. And indeed, we have a lot of opportunities to entrepreneurs. Namely, we have had a startup voucher, which is a kind of support in a scholarship during 1 year with mentorship and with a great link with incubators. And also for those who are out of the Schengen space, we have special visas. We're not talking about funds, not talking about money, but as to turn things easier in terms of getting a visa to come to Portugal, we have the startup visa to people who want to come with in a phase with idea. With an idea already with a company established in their homelands. So indeed, this is very good because people in teams up to 5 persons can come to Portugal, establish themselves in an incubator, and start their business from here, from the idea or from the already established company in their countries. So we already have a tech visa that is for established companies in Portugal, including those who have foreign capital. And this is also to get talent from out of the Schengen space. So these companies can be certified by YAPME in terms of getting people employed from abroad. Beside this, and in an overall manner, we have a national strategy for entrepreneurship that is named Startup Portugal. And indeed, there are several measures, up to 20 to 25 measures, in order to get that strategy developed to help entrepreneurs in Portugal. We have 3 major axes in this strategy. The first one is to get the entrepreneurial ecosystem more stronger than it is. In a second axis is for financing. A third one is for internationalization. So the national ecosystem, the entrepreneurial ecosystem, is very alive, in spite of the effect provoked by the pandemic. But we have done a very good job, let's say, since some years ago. We have developed a lot of actions in terms of getting a good ecosystem, and people that come from abroad is very welcomed to come, and usually they like very much the conditions that we have in Portugal, because we have we produce a very good talent from our academy. The talent is not enough everywhere, but we produce good talents, and that's why Startup Visa and Tech Visa, we are searching for more talent that we don't have enough in Portugal, and we are speaking about qualified or highly qualified talent to come to Portugal and develop their own ideas and projects. And indeed, we are searching for people that majorly the search is within this digital transformation. So that's what we want to do when we are getting to that people to come to Portugal. And actually the ecosystem, as I was saying, is in a very good shape, and we have established a lot of entrepreneurs from a lot of countries, and we have had also a great impact through Web Summit. And Web Summit was very important to us in terms of getting that impact and showing that Portugal is a very, very good opportunity to invest and to build the project. And that's it for now, and I can answer to questions after. Okay.
Thank you, José. Now, actually, if you think about it, even this program that we're organizing, Accelera Tech, it's kind of goes in the same strategy. It's not organized with you directly, it's with Tourism of Portugal. But actually, I think that it's kind of a national strategy to do that, to bring the international talent to here, right? Like, if you think about it, even this program, the main point is to attract the international startups that are very, very good in the tourism industry. So we are doing kind of the same, and it's really nice to know that it's not like an isolated initiative, and it's like more like a national strategy, and that even the entrepreneurs that came to Portugal, using initiatives like this one, like Accelera Tech, have a support and have a different initiatives here that allows them to bring more people from outside and to bring to get the visa and to do all of that. It's really nice to know that there are these kind of opportunities already predicted, and it's like it's prioritary to Portugal. And it's a national strategy to do that. Thank you very much for that. Rivolta, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the not just Portugal but the European funds itself and what Finova does.
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm Juan Revuelta. I'm the CEO from the Fundación Finova. We are based in Brussels, is our headquarters, but also in Romania, in Chile, or in Spain. We have several delegations. Anyway, what we offer as a Startup Europe Accelerator is to understand how to obtain EU funding. Before pandemic, we had the program Horizon 2020. Today is called Horizon Europe. What we have to understand after pandemic, we have the next generation program. It means any innovative company from all over the world are more than welcome to Europe. This is an innovative company. If the company has a technology, a patent, and has the right, once you create a company in Europe, in Portugal, you have the right to submit a proposal to obtain funding, subsidy. For example, last Wednesday, European Commission published the European Innovation Council. We are talking of subsidies up to 2.5 million, up to 70% to any company that is innovative and that is based in Brussels. And as if you are in the field of sustainable tourism, we are talking of climate change, waste management, water, energy, renewable energy. Now, European Commission is going to launch the program Life Energy. We are talking of projects up to 2 million euros with a subsidy of 60%. And there are several calls. Anyway, there is also a program called Erasmus Entrepreneurship that allows to have a training experience in Brussels with mentoring. We have there our Startup Europe Accelerator, and tourism is one of our most important areas of interest. And don't hesitate to contact us to participate in this challenge, because you will have not only the good opportunities from the tourism of Portugal, the visa, a very quite interesting tax umbrella. It's not that means it's, and correct me if I'm wrong, Fernando. We are talking about 15% of tax, what is not a lot, but also you have the right to have subsidies and some legal support for your companies in Europe. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Rivaldo. Actually, it freezed a bit, so I don't think that I totally understood the question. But actually, I think we will discuss it during the session, right?
Okay.
Because it's not, the connection is not completely perfect. Andrea, maybe you can tell us a little bit about Business Portugal. What do you do? How do you help entrepreneurs?
All right. Thanks, Fernando, again for inviting us to this meeting and for this presentation. It's always a pleasure to help, to share some thoughts here and to help entrepreneurs to establish their small and medium companies here in Portugal. My name is André Almeida. I run a consulting company here in Portugal since 2015. The company is called Business Portugal. The website is businessportugal.pt. And I'm working with companies since 2009. So I am Brazilian. I'm from Brazil. I also worked in Angola as a consultant too. And I always worked mainly with small and medium companies. So I would like to mention here some quotes here over Peter Drucker. The entrepreneur is always search for change, responds to it, and exploits it as an opportunity. What does it mean? It's important to see the right moment for some good opportunities. And now we see lots of opportunities, especially in technology, especially online, especially in some areas related to tourism and travel after the pandemic situation, of course. And this, in the last 6 years, we helped more than 50 companies to establish here in Portugal. And it's interesting to see the different ways in how companies can find financial resource after their own budget, going to traditional bank support or getting funding for private investors or for some European or national programs. So it's interesting to work with them. And we can see a good future for the near 10 years, for the near future, for the next programs that are open now. And we are kindly open here to help these companies that want to move to Portugal and trying to prepare for the expansion if they has the business already in another country.
Sure, makes sense. Okay, now we know a little bit more about you, but I have another kind of question. During the last year, everything have changed, and it was like, I think that 2020 was a really strange year. It almost feels like it never happened, because a lot, it was totally different from the other years. So when I do these questions, I usually like to ask everyone, our speakers, what did change for you and for the kind of support that you give entrepreneurs during last year, you know? Because the world is like crazy right now. Everything is upside down. And I don't know, can you share with us a little bit about what changed during last year for you and how does it affect the support and help you can give to the entrepreneurs and what will happen eventually? Make you can try to predict it, I don't know. What will happen during the next few months about the support and help you can give the entrepreneurs if you can will still do it and how it will be changed. It doesn't need to be a specific order. You can just talk when. But Pedro, you can start, of course.
Maybe I'll just start because I really think my intervention would probably be the poorest one. So maybe I'll start. What changed for us in this in 2020? Well, not a great deal on social innovation. A great deal in sustainability, for sure, and for the better. But I believe you are asking with my first hat, what did change in microfinance?
And mainly in the tourism industry, if you can specific. But I believe that will be general for every businesses, but if you have any specific case.
But tourism probably was more affected than any other sector, I believe. There are already numbers and talks of 60% losses. So I believe it's probably one of the largest sectors that were affected by the pandemic situation. What changed for us in microfinance? Well, quite simply putting, many micro businesses fell. Many micro business ceased to exist, and even the projects ceased to exist because the market simply wasn't there. What we did to try to mitigate this was to, as we always do, but in this case it was even more of an effort in our part. What we did with our projects was to accompany them, to counsel them, to give support, and to basically try to shift them when it's possible, or to change them when necessary. We also had to distill a quite steep learning curve because we had to readapt our analysis form, our profits predictability. So we had to change the whole thing. The way we accompany the projects, the way we analyze them, and give feedback on economical viability, and of course we had to do this in accordance with our risk policies and our credit analysis policies. All of those changed. Some businesses are no longer viable, and some. And this is what keeps us going, of course. But some opportunities arise. So what we experienced was traditional tourism, traditional tourism projects maybe stagnate or even died, but sustainability tourism projects, innovating tourism projects are now coming to play. I believe the pandemic brought something to all of us, and of course to our entrepreneurs. They start to realize that maybe if the world changes, it could bring an opportunity with it. And of course, it's very important. I'm not going to talk a lot about it because my colleagues here surely know more of this than I do. But of course, public funding helps a lot. I believe this is the way to bring life to the tourism sector again. I believe it will be maybe 5-6 years to come to old numbers, but I believe the tourism will reinvent itself, and it will be a more sustainable tourism, not only environmentally, but also socially. The social concerns of all the people are more present than ever, I believe. So what changed? We financed less projects. The ones we did finance, however, are more social and more environmental than before, and maybe more robust. So it didn't change for the worse. Not all of it was for the worse. And that's my take on it, at least.
Despite being very sad, I think that your point it was like a Darwin rule. So the weakest have died, and the strongest are living, and they will survive. Right? It's
Maybe
pretty sad,
so.
but being really
Maybe
cold.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What do you think, actually, the rest of the panel?
Well, if you allows me,
Yeah, sure.
to keep the flow after Pedro, because as he mentioned, the situation mainly over the small and local companies is critical, and these are the main marketing that we support here. And what we saw in the last year and a half, after this pandemic situation, almost all projects freezed. Some of companies or people who were looking to moving for another countries to come here in Portugal, because most of our clients come from abroad. They're just decided to take a break, take a pause, and for us, we suggested them to explore more opportunities, to prepare more their business plans, their financial forecasts, because, well, everybody knows it was almost impossible to start some kind of business specifically about tourism, hotel, food services, and etc. Except if you go online, of course. And between this period, now we can see some in the near future something returning in the normal flow for the business, and after this vaccination period we can travel again. And we were working more with this preparation. Pedro mentioned about these sustainability issues, because before it was more environmental, and he mentioned about the social sustainability, and I even put another point that we always stressed a lot about the economic sustainability, because most of small companies only look for the first months or first year to start a business, but to be economic sustainable and get the viability in the market, they need to expand. They need to go over their families or over their neighborhood to go to increase their revenues and to expand their business. And this pandemic situation put everything in with a big question mark. And how to find opportunities, how to expand a business in a recession market, how to expand a business when you cannot go in meeting people online, you cannot travel to see opportunities in local space, to see how some cities or some neighbors works, because you cannot travel. So we suggested some specific online information, and we were working more with data analysis, with statistical analysis, putting more numbers in the forecast financial predictions for the companies, and trying to see when they can actually start their companies. We suggest almost our clients to not start their business last year, but to keep doing their preparation with us. And now, maybe in the second part of this year, second half of this year, they probably can start their business, especially in the south of in the country, in RV region. Some business there were heavily affected for this situation, and now we can see how to come back for the business. So some opportunities arose as well. So we saw lots of online companies getting very bigger from the last years. We can see some areas with e-commerce, food deliveries, and electronics. And we also see a very big demand in electronic components online.
Yeah,
and
sure.
These opportunities will be interesting to see in the next following months. But there is nothing certain to see, not in small medium business. So I don't know exactly how it will be in the big companies and the big markets, but locally we are still working to see in being more conservative as possible.
Okay. And that's what changed the most, right?
Yeah.
Rivalda, Jose, what did
Yes.
which one of you wants? Okay, Rivalda.
Yes. In our case, we have seen, of course, several changes, especially in the tourism industry. For the first time, at least, we are in very deep contact with big companies in tourism from Spain, Meliá, Barcelona, all these companies, and suddenly they have just stopped, and they have been forced to analyze and to reconsider everything. And what we find is some different tendencies. First, in the field of the healthy food they provide in restaurants and hotels, it starts to be important. That means to offer traceability, and they need to be sure they are offering better quality, and they are not looking for the cheapest food or fruit that they had in the past. Second, digitalization is quite important. Now, now this webinar, we are now with this meeting, thanks the pandemic, we have learned to do webinars. Third, sustainability, because not only because ODS of United Nations, not only because there is attendance, and it's true, Nordic tourists, people from Norway, Finland, Germany, they appreciate more and more that that there is zero impact in water, or less impact in energy or in CO2, etc. And
Yes.
they have realized that if they invest in renewable energy, if they renovate, they have right to subsidies. And at the end of the day, it will mean a reduction of the operation, of the cost of operation. And imagine there are some hotels and restaurants in Spain, they are using the organic waste from the kitchen to produce biogas in the same hotel. And that's very easy. It's a biodigester. And that's why? Because we have this directive, landfill, that obliges that will do that more and more, waste will be more expensive. Anyway, now the tourist sector, they were very rich before pandemic. Now they have learned to organize better as a lobby. At least in Spain, they have been forced to talk each other with the different enterprise associations to ask the government and Brussels the support they need. And they are now thinking more, and they are learning to ask funding that before they didn't use so much. And this funding for sustainability, for regional incentives, because they create jobs and employment. And now what we have is the defense, is an economical sector that needs support, because we have also these radicals in Spain, radicals left parties, that they say, okay, tourism, we don't need tourism. Tourism is a non good economic sector, and they say in Balearic Islands, what is quite surprising, some politicians of radical left, they decide we are asking that all the next generation fund, the recovery funds, has to be to establish other economic sectors activity. In Balearic Islands, come on, it's perfect for tourism, preserving the sustainability. Okay, we are with this political debate, but imagine how difficult is in Canary Islands, Andalucía, Comunidad Valenciana, or Balearic Islands this crisis. We are talking of an unemployment of more than in the sector of the 60-70%. It's terrible.
Yeah, I think it's more or less the same in Portugal. I don't know the numbers for sure, but yeah. And you know about what was saying here in Portugal, we have a small expression. I will not try to translate it literally, but the Portuguese ones you will recognize it. A necessidade aguça o engenho. I don't know how to translate it in English literally, but it's like when you are in need, it makes you.
The necessity sharpens the skills.
Yeah, probably something like that. We have okay.
Sharpen the blades.
Yeah.
or the
Perfect translation. I was here thinking about how to do it. That's
Sorry
not
for
the easiest one.
just helping out.
Yeah. No. Yeah, sure. Exactly that. And I think it shows what you were saying that yeah, in these times that where everything is not so good, the people needs to to have more skills and to understand better. Jose, what about Yapmei? How everything changed?
Well, there's a big change. Some people say that we didn't reach yet the new normal. Okay,
Yeah.
we are just passing through a great change, but not getting into the new a new mode. Indeed, this crisis, this pandemic, showed us the fragilities that we had. And this is important to show how fragile were some kind of business or the majority of business in Europe. Indeed, if we speak about the great issues, we can speak about the green transition, and we spoke about it, and the opportunity that it means to tourism when we speak about sustainability in a mode of environment, for instance. That's an opportunity for tourism, indeed. We speak about digital transition, and we're speaking about resilience. When we speak about resilience, we must look into what means the value chain, because Europe was unprepared to get to that point, okay? So it showed also to our entrepreneurs in all sectors that we need to look at our projects, not only looking into the opportunity of the market, but how we are positioned in terms of this new reality, okay? So this means that I must look how green is my business, how digital is my business, and how resilient it is, because it is or it is not involved in the value chain. Okay, so we must look at looking at in a global mode. We must get into that vision, let's say, to look on how to manage our own business. Obviously, the governments are getting a lot of funds to try to get the companies through this very difficult process. Okay, in layoffs, in funding, and so to go into this valley, let's say, and to try to reach this new model, but. It's very difficult to forecast, but we must believe that the new models are here, and the digital is really here. Those who don't have a very good digital machine, let's say, they will be in difficulties. Some people in Portugal that were already in the digital since some years ago had the great opportunity of their lives, because this increased a lot their businesses. Okay,
Sure.
so we must be aware of what happens in our own startup, on company, but also and always looking at how is the environment and how am I involved in this new vision, in this new model. I think that is this is the message for the entrepreneurs to try to get those projects in terms of being competitive and to survive to pandemic. The models in tourism, as you said, you all said, they are really changing. But this means there are still good opportunities. Okay,
Sure.
Not perhaps a massive tourism, but for instance, you noticed that in Portugal last summer, people went to not to big hotels because it was not possible, but they reached those local tourism, those very little facilities to families, to whole family to rent, and to get each time more into nature. Okay, there is the bird watching. There is those walks in the mountain or by the sea, and that's a different kind of, not such a massive tourism, but there are lots of opportunities also in tourism, I believe.
Yeah, sure. No, it makes sense. You know, the time flies when we are having fun. I think that I say this in almost every session, Matt, and it's true. And we are becoming with less and less time to do the session. I promise you, it will take just 1 hour. I think that probably it will take a little bit more. But like one of the last questions, or even the last one. Why Portugal? Actually, you know, we talked a lot about opportunities, about investment opportunities, help that you can give them, the entrepreneurs. But you know the Portuguese market more than anyone, and actually, in case of Revolta, the European market. Why do you think that international project that it's from, let's say, United States or let's say Asia, should came here? Why choose Portugal to start? Because you know there are a lot of people that are hearing us right now from all around the world. They are thinking about coming here, and probably during the last weeks, I hope they have get a new perspective about Portugal and how great Portugal is to start a business in the tourism industry. But actually, I think that your opinion could bring great value for them, because you have a different perspective, not just the tourism one, but in the more about the startup ecosystem and about the company's ecosystem. We can do the same, like Pedro. You started the last the last times.
Okay. Well, I really believe that even with the pandemic, Portugal didn't cease to be beautiful and safe
Yeah.
and authentic and thoroughly enjoyable. So it's still one of the best destinations in the world to
Sure.
go and to be a tourist, and naturally to open a tourism business. I also believe that with mainly with the bazooka, the public funds, the public funding help of the European Commission, that our comeback, our tourism comeback, will be swifter than in other geographies. I really believe that, but only time will tell. But I would say that all the major characteristics of our beautiful country, and by that, and our beautiful continent even, are still intact. So it's just a matter of how resilient the companies are, how well made the investments, the future investments are, and how business are repositioned to address new concerns, mainly social, in my point of view.
Yeah.
Also environmental, but mainly social. I'll give you a microfinance example. Okay, to keep it simple, we finance way more than 100 projects every year, and so we have some capillarity analysis. So I'll give you just one example. In the center of the country, we financed a little project, an hostel, and it was completely empty for months since the first confinement. For months, completely empty. And we had a talk with our promoter and said to him, well, why don't you try to reinvent your business model? And you think, and he called me late at night and said, Pedro, I had an idea. I don't know if it will work, and if it doesn't work in 2 weeks, I'm out of business. But I will try it anyway. So he put a billboard in front of the hostel, saying just this: 10% of all our profits will be donated to the Casa dos Rapazes. I don't know how to say it in English. It's a social mission
Children house.
to children house. Yeah, social mission. 10% of our profits will be donated directly to Casa dos Rapazes, and the Casa dos Rapazes is in the same street. I believe it's in the other street. And in those 2 weeks, he was completely booked every day. Even the neighbors stayed there.
Yeah.
Even the neighbors, so that he wouldn't close doors. Okay,
Yeah, sure.
so we just have to think outside the box sometimes. But what we believe in Banco Montepio, it's that it's evident that it's growing an awareness, not only environmental but also social, that we have to be there for each other.
Yeah, sure.
And cause impact.
It's a delicious story, actually. It shows. Yeah, thank you very much, Pedro. And
Thank you.
maybe
Again.
just to make a different order, Jose, what do you think?
Yeah. Okay. So it's really true what Pedro was saying. Yeah? Portugal has natural characteristics and culture that helps a lot to get entrepreneurs, to get tourists to the country. But don't forget one thing. In the second Web Summit, we have made a survey to the great investors that were coming to Portugal to find out what was of their interest in Portugal. And we were hoping them to say it's sunny, the food is great, and so and so. And this came in the survey, but not in first place. In the first place was one thing that I've spoken in the beginning of this conversation, that was named talent.
Yeah,
okay,
I agree with you.
So that's talent that we have. We have a very good talent. All the people speaks English. Don't forget this, because this is very important. And in other countries, this is not happening. Okay. So after that, we have also, I consider it a good advantage. We are a little country. Yeah. And as a little country, it is very good to companies from outside to establish their branches, to get some kind of testing and getting a bridge from here to Europe or for Africa or for Brazil. And this is a good advantage. And if we speak about the entrepreneurial ecosystem, about startups, about companies, it is really easy to get in touch with people. Yeah. And this is very good, because all these people that we are here, or the 5 people, we can open doors to the entrepreneurs to help people, and that's really easy. Try to do this in a great country, and in a big country, and it is really not easy. Okay, so these are very good advantages to get into Portugal, and as Pedro was saying, this is one of the most safe countries in the world, and the culture and the cultural offer is really good indeed, and we have several advantages that that brought a lot of people to Portugal. Once again, when we speak about Web Summit, I've been involved through the 6 editions. It was fantastic because in the third day of the Web Summit, there were a lot of young people, majorly, that was saying to us in Portugal, to the Portuguese authorities, I want to come to live in Portugal next week. Okay, and this means a lot. This means how alive the ecosystem is, because it still is, because it is a very resilient ecosystem. Okay, don't forget that after 1 month or two, more than 500 companies in Portugal last year had solutions for the COVID. Okay, and they are registered by YAPME in the microsite of the Ministry of Health. And this means that we are very alive. Today, the entrepreneur, today the Portuguese startups and those that they want to come, they are very alive, and they are not getting back the fight. Okay, so this means a lot, because these people showed us that if I don't sell this kind of thing, this kind of product or service, immediately I'm trying to find another solution. That's how inventive the example of Pedro is to get a solution for the problem. And in this, I think Portugal is a good example to find out what are the solutions for this period. So we are very ready, we are very steady, we are very resilient in Portugal, and indeed this is a great opportunity for those who want to come to tourism or other sector.
Yeah, sure. That's totally true.
Yes.
Rivolta, Andrea, which one?
In my vision, I'm not Portuguese. I'm Spanish, based in Brussels. I think Portugal is doing really very good homework from many years ago to attract the startups. Why? Because the relation quality life and talent is wonderful. The cost of salaries are very competitive in Portugal. I know a lot of entrepreneurs from Spain, from France, that are based in Lisbon, and they have wonderful houses, quality of the food of the Portuguese people. They are really nice. They are talent. It's a serious country. Second, for me, Portugal is quite interesting for LATAM. It's true, for Brazil, also for other countries like all what is the Lusophonia in Africa and other countries, but also let's think big. We are talking of the European Union market. We are talking of 500 tourists. Then a good place to demonstrate your innovation, it can be Madeira, why not? It can be in Algarve, it can be in any way in Porto, in Lisbon. Okay, you have the best place to do that, but after you can scale in all over Europe, and you have the right to submit a proposal to obtain EU funding, and then you are, because in the middle of Atlantic you have the access to the European Union market, and quite important, what you do in Brussels, when you have all the recognition, the logos, then other market will be open, because now in all over the world they are talking of the travel passport, what they call in Brussels the European Green Certificate. And of course, we need a European Green Certificate, but with blockchain. Some countries, as Paraguay or Chile, they are saying, we are interested, but we are going to wait up to Brussels approve a system. And we will try to have the same system. Then, why Portugal? Because the cost is really interesting, because the quality of life is high, because the people is there is a lot of talent. Portuguese are serious people. They work hard. It's a serious country. And you have the access, not only the Lusofonia, not only Brazil, Latin America, but the 500 millions of the European Union market, in my opinion. Thank you.
Yeah, that's completely true. And actually, you have the final statement, so it's a big responsibility.
Oh, yeah, Fernando and our friends. Well, these last words are supposed to be quick because we have only 2 or 3 minutes, I suppose.
Yes.
But I could summarize everything that they said. It's true, of course. I think almost everyone knows it. I would like to expose 1 or 2 more points here. I think mainly the strength still measured the same, but the move when the company especially in my small company needs to move and start their business, they need to be more viable. And Pedro mentioned it already. The business models need to be shaped because before the pandemic situation, we used to see a lot of canvas or even a lot of business plans. I always insisted because I work with companies and as a consultant since 2009, and in almost 12 years working with company, looking for a lot of spreadsheets, business plans, canvas, and etc. I put a lot of attention in the SWOT situation because people need to work work out more their not only their strengths and weaknesses, but the outside the area about the opportunities and the threats. And the pandemic situation exposed more the threats, but on the other hand, puts more opportunities as well. And what this is all related to about why Portugal? Well, Portugal is geographically in a good position because you can, after this pandemic situation, take in flights and go everywhere easily. But now we have already a good internet structure. So when you got a good fast internet almost everywhere, you can work from everywhere to everywhere. So this is a good opportunity. We were talking with some group of our people here about new opportunities for foreigners to start their business here and work with Portuguese companies or European companies, and then don't need necessarily to be here physically because they can do everything, and we have almost everything online, if accountability and legal systems and tax systems and etc. So this is a good opportunity. Okay, we know there are other systems in other countries that could be working better or different, but the strength in Portugal, more than only this structure, online structure and online support, even in the near future when they really want to move physically here to explore more the country and explore more some niche markets, they have the first door to Europe. As they said before, working as with lots of Brazilian companies or Latin American companies, we always stress these opportunities, and this is a big why for Portugal, and there's a big positive why, and I really stress this point for the door to the Europe and the European market, and it makes a lot of sense. And I would like to close these arguments here, saying we never stop working, and we need to believe and to look forward always for opportunities. We need to learn for the past situations. A little more about 10, 12 years ago about the subprime crash. We had all the situations that we learned a lot in this period for after recession and market recovery. And I think now we are dealing a bit better than before with this crisis, because okay, it's not an economic crisis, it's turned to be economic crisis, but especially the bank systems, the financial systems, and the entrepreneurial mindsets changed a lot. And fortunately, we live with more technological support, and this is still being a good opportunity here. And the structure here is a good point to stress here, and we can see now how companies can perform better.
Thank you very much. We are receiving a lot of questions in different channels on our channels and our partners' channels. We will, yeah, no, because these some partners make reposts of these sessions in their pages, and it's almost impossible to keep track of everything. That's why we ask usually to put the comments in our pages, but we are trying. And but actually we have two questions here that was asked in our pages, and they are really quick. They are the last ones, but I think that we come across almost everything that people asked us. But this one we didn't talk exactly. I think it's more for Jose. Jose, startup visa jobs created, right? This is a different program.
No. That's not true. That's not true. If you want to see in a light mode what the startup visa, go to the YouTube, because we have made a little movie about 3 minutes, and there are the major what interests more in startup visa. Then if you want some advice on specific things, you can call us here in Yapme, and we are very glad to help you.
Sure. Actually, I don't promise you that I will do it right now, but like in a few hours or something, I can actually put the video here in the comments, Bryce.
Okay.
So it will be, yeah.
It was great.
It will help.
It was great, Fernando.
Yeah, and actually, I think that this one is for us. Mike has a project in the commercial aviation, if this is the type of project accepted for this investor impulse. Actually, Mike, any kind of project about the SlayerTech specifically, any kind of project that could help the tourism industry can apply. You don't need to be an hotel or a travel agency. If you have, let's say, a company that manages big data and it can be useful for the hotels, for example, yeah, you can apply. If you have something that will help the tourism industry, the commercial aviation, and it will change that, sure, you can apply, as long as you want to bring it to Portugal. That's the main point of SlayerTech in Portugal, is to get to know Portuguese companies, Portuguese investors, and Portuguese specialists that can help you to make pilots and to bring your project here, to be here, and then eventually go to Europe by Portugal, But the point is to bring you here. You don't need to be physically here, but at least you need to be able to know our investors, our mentors, and our partners that you can make pilots with. That's actually the main point. Thank you very much, everyone. It was great. We are out of time right now, but it was really nice to have your experience here. This session was a little different. We talked about the tourism, but not just the tourism. It was more global, more not global, general. Okay. But I think it was really useful because there are a lot of things here that can be used both for the tourism and not tourism startups. It was really great to have you with us. This was our last session in the SlayerTech webinars before the applications ends. As I told you, the applications will close this Sunday, so if you have this international startup in the tourism industry, as I told you before, it's time to apply. I would like to thank you all. I want to thank you everyone that was listening during these last few weeks. It was really great to be here with you and to moderate these sessions. And just to end with a small word of hope, I just knew it during this session that a new baby have born in our team. One of our team members, Zé Miguel, had a small child. So congratulations, Zé Miguel. Congratulations, Nazaré and Shannon. Actually, new entrepreneurs are born right now. I'm pretty sure Nazaré will be an entrepreneur one day. So it kind of gives us hope that, the world is in a good hand, and, and the tourism industry also will still be mixed and reinvented during the next few years. Thanks again. Thank you, everyone. It was really great to have you with us, and hope to see you all in the Slur Tech program in a few weeks. See you soon.
Thank you all.